somewhere beyond traditional thinking, beyond standard treatments, is a place that bridges where we've been to where we're driven to be. It's where innovation that saves and sustains lives meets the providers who make it happen. Where our ability to manage illness expands to reach patients with limited options. Where we address complications before they become life-threatening. Where we're not only treating diseases, but also discovering smarter ways to prevent them. This is our place, where we come together to write our greatest chapter as a visionary company operating at the center of global healthcare. This is the intersection of our boldest possibilities. This is the new Baxter.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you to each and every one of you for being here with us today. We are very happy and excited to welcome you to our first Legacy Hillrom marketing meeting under Baxter. Now, as Hillrom is part of Baxter, not only we are stronger than ever, but we will grow faster together by supporting our patients through every point of their journey with a broad set of solutions that empower healthcare professionals to deliver smarter care. Please join us today to learn more about our latest results and achievements of the year and to deep dive into FLC and Care Solutions, BU strategy and focus areas that will drive our growth. Handing it over to you, Catalina.
Thank you. Thank you, Ilham, and a warm welcome to all of you attending today the Legacy Hillrom breakout session. This is the second ECMEA Marketing Summit, but the first one to actually join Legacy Hillrom. So it is the first time also we are having a marketing session with this new split of businesses. So we have FLC with Ilham and Care Solution with myself. For those of you who do not know me yet, I am Catalina Tudose, and I'm taking care of the marketing for the new Care Solutions business unit, which is basically the joint GSS and PSS. What we're going to do today, I'm going to show you very quickly the agenda because we have a different flow than what you have seen yesterday in the plenary session, which I hope you did enjoy a lot. So if you can pull up the agenda for today, we are going, of course, to start our breakout session by having a message from our leader, from Jean-Marc. We're going to have a very brief overlook on the financial performance, and we're going to continue with two general valid topics for both FLC and Care Solutions, which is technical service and some key updates from regulatory. So we have with us also today for the main part of the session, Wojtek and Marco. Now, we're going to split afterwards. After this main session, which will take 1 hour, we're going to split in two different sessions. Those of you who are part of the FLC community, you will stay with Ilham, who is going to lead this session. And those of you who want and are part of the Care Solutions, please click here below on the breakout for Care Solutions. Thank you so much. And with no further ado, let me invite the one and only Jean-Marc.
Thank you so much, Catalina and Hilam. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to introduce this FLC and Care Solution marketing session. I would like first, to welcome all our Hillrom legacy team and addressing also to them all my gratitude for what they achieved and went through in the last couple of months. But I would like also to deeply welcome all of you who were not part of the Hillrom legacy adventure. And thank you so much for your interest on our business, but also for the great integration and inclusion to the Baxter company. Let me first start with a very personal and a little bit direct statement. You know, in the Hillrom history, marketing was never, how I say that, a strong pillar, right? And never played the role it deserves. And I think clearly that it is one of the several positive impacts of this new Baxter company we are building since a couple of months now. It's been really the importance of the marketing at the center of everything we are doing. When you think about geographical expansion, about portfolio management, about distribution channel management, profitability, product launch, niche market investigating, pricing strategy, we need a strong marketing support in all we are doing, in all sales initiatives we want to implement, or decisions we need to take. In 23, with the whole integration coming and done starting January 1st, we will have much more people on the ground supporting the Hillrom business. We will have also much more marketing support at the regional level with Maria, Catalina, and Hilam and the whole team, but also at the cluster level. Knowing that we will have a lot of big opportunities during next year to come. Just as examples, we will have the Volte Mobile in selected countries, which will be released. The nurse call, Volte Nurse Call also will be released. We will also experience something completely new in our story, in our history, which is about changing one of our business model in Eastern Europe. And the beauty of having such kind of session now is about sharing. It's about get some alignment on the vision and the strategy, getting inspired from best practices and having all stakeholders involved, like service, sales enablement, regulatory, the sales team, etc. We have everything in our hands, not only to grow through obstacles as Maria and Hani expressed yesterday, but to boost our growth and our profitability. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jean-Marc, for setting up the stage for our marketing breakout session. Before we go to our first speaker for today, we are not sure who is out there in the audience. So you're going to see some question for you, right? And we would like you to be answering to this question. And I'm very curious, what type of word cloud I'm going to see on the screen. This question is basically related to one word that comes to your mind when you think of growing faster together. What does it mean for you? Is it collaboration? Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think this was the word that came up yesterday during the plenary session. Alignment, that's for sure. Growth, everybody's talking about the growth, right? Even Jean-Marc was mentioning about profitability, growing together, right? This is the theme of our session. I see more people choosing collaboration, which I think is important across business units, not only for legacy Baxter. Okay, alignment, focus, growth, but the big one is collaboration. And I do agree with you. And this is basically why we chose this theme for today. Just for your information, last year we were talking about how marketing is creating demand. And all the agenda was basically approaching this theme. This year it's about agility, having an agile mindset up, working together, focusing, trusting each other. I love this word. I don't know who put this, but I really love it. Trusting each other, right? It's about working together to have the same goal, respect, teamwork. That's it. Working as a team all of us. And I have to admit, because I am new to the Legacy Hillrom team, I have to confess that in such a short time, just in a couple of months, I could see that all the core values of our corporate is there already. Everybody's working with high efficiency, with speed, wanting to simplify everything. Cooperation and collaboration is everywhere. So I'm really happy, really proud, and very excited to be with you. Good. Thank you so much for being engaged in this. This is a sign that you were with us today. Now, we are going to give the word to our first speaker. For those of you who have been attending yesterday's plenary session, you know that B24 is one of the high importance topic that we are all discussing today across business units. Claudia was yesterday emphasizing the importance of the technical service, not only as a support function, but actually as a contributor, as a direct contributor to our profitability, efficiency, and our customer-facing support. This is why we have invited Wojtek today with us. He is the new director of the technical support for ECMEA, and he's going to walk us through what is service doing, what is their added value, how they are differentiating, how we can ask for support. Thank you so much, and I'll give you the word to you, Wojtek. We cannot hear Wojtek.
How about now? Can you hear me?
Okay, now we can hear you. The stage is yours, Wojtek.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Claudia. Hello, everyone. My name is Wojtek Bułatowicz, and I'm going to walk you through as Claudia said, an initiative and really the technical service activities and plans that we have for the next year, and also explain some of the changes we're making in the technical services. So with that, could we go to the next slide, please? So we'll go ahead and actually start with I will remind you a little bit about the service organization that we have put in place starting September 1. So we'll go over this in some detail. And then we'll actually start talking about why are we discussing service? Why is it important? Why do we need to really think about this? We'll also talk about what are we trying to do differently in the future as a one Baxter, combined teams, combined forces, the Legacy Hillrom and Legacy Baxter. And of course, I do want to touch on how you can help, because at the end, it will be actually something that we all have to pitch in and we have to work on in terms of changing how we are dealing with service. And I will outline a couple of activities that really you can help with for us all to be able to achieve the goals that we are setting out to achieve. And of course, at the end, we'll have a short Q&A for any, so you can ask any questions at that time. So next slide, please. So on September 1, we have announced a new organization for our technical service. And this is actually a very important step for us in terms of really combining and integrating our Legacy Baxter and Legacy Hillrom activities when it comes to services. We have, number one, we've started with the fact and indicating that we want to have a one point of contact for all Baxter portfolio for any technical service activities. And therefore, as you can see, we have 5 service managers which are specifically focused on specific geography in our region. Starting with Ayman Zaki, who is taking care of Middle East and Africa without Saudi Arabia. We have Khalid Ismail, who is taking care of Saudi Arabia. Anna Hojczak, based in Warsaw, who is taking care of Southeast and Europe and also Israel, Ukraine, and Alexei Slepnev, who is taking care of Russia and CIS. Finally, we have another service manager who is responsible for Turkey, Berkan Lapumtsu. We have also created a new role, which has not been in place before, and this is a role of distributor enablement and digital solutions delivery. And Ahmed Nassar has been promoted to this role and is managing a small team associated with it. The importance of this organization lies really in the fact that number one, we have now for each of the regional territories a person that is responsible for service. And number two, you can see that we also have a very specific focus on supporting our digital solutions as well as our distributor enablement. Another big element, and this is what always I would say is exciting, I think, for the One Baxter or the new Baxter, is the fact that we have a significantly increased footprint. That's all, especially the case for our Hillrom, my Hillrom colleagues or legacy Hillrom colleagues who know that in legacy Hillrom there was a relatively small number of people involved in services, and this is now not the case with the acquisition of Hillrom. Really, Baxter is providing this tremendous platform and a footprint of service resources that not all of them, but some of them can be leveraged. And of course, this allows us for significantly better reach to within the entire region. I want to emphasize something though. The fact that we have service managers does not mean that we will be delivering service directly everywhere, okay? And the legacy Baxter activities, some of them within ECMEA are direct, like in Poland or Turkey and Russia. There are also some semi-direct service models, like in Saudi Arabia or Morocco. So these will obviously continue and stay as they are. Legacy Hillrom actually has pretty much delivered service up until now, all indirectly. And for now, most of the time it will continue this way. There are some selected specific areas where we're considering changing, and I will talk about this later on. But in general, we'll really continue as we had before. What we are able to do, and what this new structure allows us to do, is to have a little bit more of a service management oversight in the different parts of the region that will allow us to have much better contacts with the distributors that we are working with, again, especially when it comes to legacy Hillrom. As many of you know, with the small number of people we had before, our ability to cover the entire region was very difficult. Next slide, please. So, medical devices, right? And obviously it is a significant investment for many of our customers, and and of course for in Baxter, and I think this is one of the kind of biggest differences. Also, Baxter owns quite a few devices that are used for some of the renal activities. But the reality is we have a very wide portfolio of the medical devices, although you have to be aware that Baxter business is not fully dependent on medical devices. I think this is me as being a legacy Hillrom employee. I think this was probably the biggest adjustment that I had to make in thinking about our business. There are big portions of our business, probably around 40% or even more, that do not use any medical devices. They are simply independent from that and really there is very little that technical service is actually involved in. Okay, so we always have to think about this and be aware that that's the reality of how Baxter works. I think this is again something that we all need to keep in mind as we're planning activities and also analyzing our numbers or revenues. But also when you look at the overall portfolio, there's no question that we have a tremendous opportunity to leverage the footprint from the legacy Baxter, but also leverage the reach and some of the approaches in indirect business that Hiram was able to develop. So I think it's definitely a win-win situation. I think the important part here also I wanted to stress is and the investment in medical devices for our customers, for the distributors, etc., is a big investment. Usually it's a big outlay of money, which they expect to get an ROI from. They are expecting to really be able to manage, and they're expecting to get value out of. Okay. Another big portion that the big thing we need to remember about is the fact that the reality is the products we sell stay with the customer for years, 3, 5, 10. Many of the devices or products actually stay with our customers for much longer than this, even 20 years or more. And they require service, they require maintenance, and in order for them to be fully functional, in order for them to be fully productive throughout their life cycle, they need to be maintained and supported. Next slide, please. So we're getting really, why are we talking about service? There's no question that, as you've seen, that we are, when it comes to medical devices, once you sell them, once we actually make the capital sale, there is still a lot of work that needs to be done for the customer to be happy about the purchase, and for them to, again, to recognize and realize the value that they expect from the purchase of the product. So this is one of the key customer satisfaction factors that we need to keep in mind. How the product is performing after the sale is absolutely critical, and of course how it's maintained, or how it can be operational or it can be kept operational, is absolutely paramount. This is also customer satisfaction is also a significant factor in future purchase decisions, right? So of course we need to keep this in mind, and of course this is where we are required to think about how we handle with technical service. Another element that technical service is definitely it's a foundation of technical service, or the responsibility of technical service, is compliance and quality. We are making sure that when it comes to products that are in the field, the installed base, any type of field actions are taken care of, either directly or indirectly through our distributors, as well as any preventive maintenance or repairs are done in an effective and quick way. This allows for compliance, and this also allows for keeping the quality of products in the right way. When we look at as I said, there is a significant amount of time that the products will be maintained or serviced within. And of course, that costs money, and it can also create money, or it can create additional revenue for service. We know this, our competition knows it, and everyone is aware that this is a big opportunity for us to also add to our top and bottom line. And very often service is quite profitable and has good margins. Also, when it comes to service, we need to keep in mind that as we are bringing in products to the market, we have to have a clear service plan and strategy on how the products are going to be serviced, maintained, repaired, again, either through direct or indirect methods. It is very important, and very often we had to adjust or sometimes even stop some of the releases of products because we would not, in some cases, we may not be able to fully assure that the appropriate level of service can be delivered. Sometimes the products are not designed to be sold international or serviced outside of certain areas, and we have to take this under consideration. So medical devices, equipment type of sales require that as we are planning and analyzing where we go in terms of the markets, we have to also take this under consideration, that serviceability of the product is critical. Of course, many capital products are becoming more than just equipment, right? They are connected. And we hear over and over about the digital solutions, digital strategy, and connected products. Of course, service has a critical function and critical part in making sure that we can deliver and support those digital solutions, and also those solutions provide new clinical workflows, which again are important for the healthcare and how it's delivered. So at the end, the overall new clinical workflows really allow us to even change how we save and sustain lives. Overall, just to make a point, as Claudia said, we have, when it comes to service, it is the revenue generator. And in case of the ECMEA business, it's roughly $20 million per year, with the biggest contributor to that service revenue is HD business, followed by care solutions, hospital products, and finally FLC. Next slide, please. Finally, what are we doing differently, and what are we planning to do differently in FY23, and how can you help? So, as you know, we are working in different markets. The approach to direct or semi-direct markets are different than what we need to do in indirect markets. Them as direct or semi-direct markets allow us to actually be much more hands-on and allow us to, for example, tighten up service commitment deliveries. Not always we have a clear picture of what is required or what we are delivering, or the scope of boundaries of the deliverables for the customers. We also need to make sure that we do sales of service at the point of sale. And this actually is true, or can be true, both for direct or indirect markets. Of course, in indirect markets, it's the distributor that we need to make sure that they sell the service, either when it comes to extended service coverage, like extended warranty, or in installation fees, either for FLC connectivity or any type of other more complex solutions installations. Of course, we need to make sure that we are covering those costs and make sure that at the end we can deliver and account for the right efforts that it takes to actually implement the solution correctly. In indirect markets, what we're going to be focusing on is, number one, you will see that the service managers are going to be reaching out to the commercial teams or leads, as well as to the distributors, to work on the technical service distributor agreements. This is especially true for the legacy Hillrom distributors who will have to change their NADAs, but also this is applicable also for the legacy Baxter distributors. We're also going to be working with everyone with the distributors on making sure that they have adequate agreed level of spare parts. Okay, this means that they need to have enough of parts to provide a high quality of service to our customers, taking under consideration some of the supply chain issues that we may have had in the past also. Things like being able to also deal with the installed base, and in some cases dealing with the preventive maintenance is also critical. At the end, though, we will be introducing new indirect market service products that will help us all to actually introduce and sell more service. We are going to be working on also some changes to the go-to-market models in some selected countries. One of them is Morocco, but this is only for actual renal business, not necessarily Hillrom legacy. And at the end, we are going to be working on delivering the connected solutions. This is something that we'll be working with the lead of Ahmed Nassar, but also with cooperation with service managers. So I would ask you to cooperate with them and make sure that if there is any type of new activities related to digital solutions, connected solutions, that you reach out to either of them to make sure that this is happening. So again, please remember to provide us with, make sure that you reflect any extended warranty commitments through extended warranties products that are available. And if you are changing a distributor, if you are looking for a new distributor, please involve service managers to make sure that we can also assess them and assess the distributor for their capability for service. So with that, I think this is all. We can move to the questions and answers session.
Thank you very much, Wojtek. Interesting insights and really great information. So please, if you have any question, don't hesitate to reach out to Wojtek in the future. Thank you so much. And now let's look at FLC financials and year-to-date performance. As you can see on the slide, we are expected to land at 30 million, achieving a strong double-digit growth by 20% versus previous year, which happened across all the regions, but is mainly driven by strong KSA recovery, growing by 136% versus last year. As you all may know, this year's plan got impacted negatively by the global allocation and production issues, which was mainly on CSM products. Otherwise, the growth could be stronger, reflecting the real demand in the region. On the FLC overall margin, we achieved an increase of 1.6% versus last year, with gross margin of 52%, mainly driven by the connectivity license sold in UAE, but also due to an improved margin across all product categories versus last year. It's also key to look at our core product categories performance. And this year, the growth was across all product segments, mainly driven by strong growth in Levi, despite the allocation issue, followed by a strong growth in cardiology by approximately 31%. We also managed to grow our thermometry business by 18%, which helped us to regain a part of our lost market share during COVID in 2021, also due to allocation issues at that time. Finally, I would like to thank you all for your immense contribution to achieving those results, and we are looking forward to ending this year with great achievements. Handing over to you, Catalina.
Thank you, Ilham, and congrats for the great performance in FLC. I'm very proud also and excited to give you a very brief overview on how we are performing in Care Solutions. So as you can see, we are showing just one number, right, per business unit, incorporating both PSS and GSS. So according to forecast 3, we should land at 75 million, which is basically 5% growth versus last year, growing from 71 to 75. Now, if I'm talking about who is contributing to more to the sales revenue, it's definitely the PSS, but actually the growth generator is the GSS side. So on the PSS portfolio, as you can see, we are mainly flat if I'm comparing with last year. But if I'm looking at the product split, even though we are declining in beds, med-surg and ICU, I think there's still a big recognition that we need to give to Saudi for being really number one globally in selling Axela beds. So this year to date, they sold 700 Axela beds, which is more than Brazil or New Zealand, making them really the biggest achiever in the organization. So big congrats for the team behind this great result. We do have some growth in the PSS portfolio. This time is coming from stretchers, more than 50% growth, mainly driven by Kuwait, and also in the LICO portfolio with more than 30% growth versus last year. But let me stop a little bit more on the GSS, because again, I think it's great achievement to have a very strong double-digit growth versus last year, 11%, which is mainly coming from big contributor markets. And I would like to give a big applause to Czech Republic for being really overachieving in selling all our connectivity, but also to Russia for having a very solid contribution, selling surgical tables. And last but not the least important, right, selling ILET 7 to Romania, Kuwait, Oman. All of you actually have shown very big agility in selling GSS this year, despite all the challenges, specifically with the product allocation. So the fact that we are now at 70% of our F3 means that we are expecting a very strong and solid Q4 performance in order to respect our financial commitment. But I would really, really like to give you all the credit for the big efforts that you're doing on a daily business to have such a great financial achievement. Thank you so much. And back to you, Ilham.
Congratulations, Catalina and the team. Amazing, amazing success. Before we go to our next speaker, we are interested in getting your insights by answering this interesting poll question. So question number 1, there are 2 questions, but we will start with question number 1. Please rank the following corporate core values according to their importance, in your opinion, that will help us to grow faster. The first one is cooperation, simplicity, speed, and efficiency. I will be waiting for your answers. And I hope you will choose my favorite word. Okay. So let's see. Wow. Okay. It's somehow shocking answers. I like that all the people in the meeting are aligned. Okay, so let's see if we are going to change the results or not. Let's see. We are waiting for your answers. Until now, there is only one word that got 100%. Okay, so the winning word is external events. That's really nice, but I didn't hear anything about market research, portfolio management, new product launch. Um, the next question, please. I think something went wrong with the quiz. Okay, so for the next question, where should marketing put more efforts to support growing faster? Is it market research? Is it portfolio management? Is it external events, a new product launch? And honestly, I like the splits so much. So we got the final result, and the winner is portfolio management, which is amazing. This is what I would really love to see. The second one is external events. I do agree with you all that it's pretty important. Market research, and then new product launch. So thank you very much for your participants, um, and now please allow me to welcome our next speaker, Marco Mandoci, our Regulatory Affairs Manager in ECEMEA, giving us some updates, some important updates on three topics that have big impact on our business today. So please join us, Marco. Marco, I think you are on mute. If you can. We cannot hear you, Marco.
Can you hear me now?
Now we can hear you. Thank you.
Okay, I don't know why. Thank you very much, Ilan, for this introduction, and it's really a pleasure for me to be here and present the key update for regulatory point of view. So the first thing that I'd like to just cover with you is the MDR, and I don't know how much you are familiar with MDR, but just let me give you a brief introduction about the regulation and what will be the impact for our ECMEA region. So if you want to go on the next slide, please. You see, I just try to simplify the impact that MDR will have in ECMEA and differentiate with four different color of the impact. And the main impact for us will be in Eastern Europe, where actually they are relying on the EC cert or MDR compliance in order to allow the device to be sold in that region. But also there are also other countries that might impact by MDR, in particular for Russia and CIS country and Saudi. Other country might not be so impactful for MDR, and the main reason is because we might use other approval, and like for example US approval to allow the business to continue there. But in general, that will be the main impact that we have in MDR. And just for let you know about the history and the background of MDR, that was released in Europe in 2017. And the European Commission gave 3 years in order to be in compliance with that. And the regulation was actually put in place and be active in May 2021. And that was postponed actually due to the COVID. And we are now in this period, in transition period, where MDD product cannot be sold into the market and within a validity of MDD certificate. And we have until 2024 in this transition period. But after May 2024, only MDR product can be placed on the market. And just for you to make you aware, placing the market is something that is the first device put in the European market. But after May 2024, we might continue to distribute the device that has been already placed in the market and continue to be in the market after within 2025. So I just would like to give you an overall situation about MDR, about the frontline care and care solution product and where we are in the MDR project. So if you want to move to the next slide. Yep. I will start with frontline care. And here we can see the main device under remediation for MDR. And we have a well-churning cardiology product, and where we are planned to submit for MDR next year. And for some of them, we're going to is a plan to obtain the certificate just right before the expiration date of the previous MDD certificate. So something that's going to be received around Q1 2024. And is also expecting that for some device, we might receive the certificate after the expiration of the MDD certificate. And other device where, like Epiphany, the certification was suspended, so we have planned to obtain the new MDR certificate only in July 2024. Other products like vital sign and blood pressure and thermometer, excluded the Pro 6000, we are still in plan to submit in the end of this year or the beginning of next year. And the plan is still to obtain the certificate around Q2 2024 or Q1 2024. And the risk associated with that is definitely in the timeline, and we need to ensure that we're going to meet this timeline in order to get the certificate in the proper time to maintain business continuity. And for VEST, so for respiratory care, we have already submit the product for the MDR submission, and we are expecting to receive the approval next year. In the next slide, I actually provide the list of products that are not in the scope of MDR remediation, but since our new product development, we're going to be impacted by the MDR. And in particular, there are some products that are intended to be replaced in the market, like DCS, so that is going to replace CPWS or NAScribe. And that is something that we have not received any commitment to get the MDR yet. But there are also other products that are really interesting for our frontline care portfolio, where we are now investigating about marketing assessment, like Bardio or RetinaView 700. And those devices will be quite interesting, and we need to ensure that we're going to proceed and start soon the certification under MDR. The impact on our will be the replacement for the Pro 6000, and we cannot really start to apply for MDR until the design of Disco will be completed. So again, that will risk to impact on our business if we are not be able to certify the Disco product on time. And the next version of CVSM, CIWS, and CSM, so the SIMWORD device, is actually something that will be, again, need to be finalized in the design before to submit for MDR, and that is something that we are able to submit only in January 2025, and we plan to receive the certification in 2026. So this is quite the situation for frontline care. Just to summarize, we have a solid plan for remediate all the current portfolio to the MDR. But when we are talking about new product development, we really need to push to make sure that all our portfolio will be in compliance with MDR. And if you want to next slide, please, I'm going to cover also Care Solution. Yep. And differently from frontline care, here we have just few devices and few family of the device, and I can summarize that in 2 devices for PSS and 2 devices for GSS. In particular, for PSS, we have the 2 family. One is for the Pluvigny manufacturing side, where we have the submission for the Acella therapy, P290, and Acella bed. And that is something that has been already submitted on May 2021. And we are planning to receive the MDR certificate within February 2023. And different situations for Progressa, Compella, and Centrella. So the bed that are manufactured in Batesville, where even if we have submitted or started the initial submission with the notified body on July 2022, we still not received the confirmation that has been accepted, and we started the process for certification. For GSS, we have 1 device for Trumpf, and that will be the legacy Trumpf, the TruePort, and that will be the new FCS 700. That is the only Class 2B for GSS portfolio. And that is something that has been already submitted a long time ago in 2021, but we still not received any update about the current status of the MDR certification. Only the first scrutiny has been started for notified body, and we are expecting to receive the approval no sooner than May 2023. For VideoMed, we also have a product for fluid and anywhere software, and that is something that is going to be integrated with Helion, with the VideoMed product. And the expiration date of the certificate for MDD was June 2022. So now we have a plan to submit in April 2023 and hopefully receive the certification within Q2 2024. Okay, next slide, please. I would also like to take the chance to briefly introduce to you the LANG project. And if you want to also change the next slide, I just would like to present the project, and as maybe you know already, but is intended to change the legal entity name of Trumpf into Baxter. And that is something that's going to happen on January 19, 2023. And you can imagine about the effort associated with that. So all our user manual, label, and labeling, marketing material, and in particular, all the license need to be updated reflecting the new Baxter name. And that will have a significant impact in our region, in ISIMEA. And we should expect Q2 from Q1 to Q3 next year, some kind of impact in our country due to the eventually the time that we need in order to re-register the device there. So if you just proceed in the next slide, I just briefly provide for you the overview of what's going on and what's going to be the timeline. As I mentioned, right now we are in the phase where only the last order on the Trumpf can be placed, and actually we already expired that time. So, you know, all the new order now need to be investigated in order to understand if we can order a Trumpf product or it will go under Baxter. So until January 19th, we are still possible to ship out a Trumpf product, but that will not be possible after January 19th. And that is when all Baxter product can be, only Baxter product can be shipped out. And in general, the project will consist in the first part where we need to review and prepare all the document that will be needed for the submission. And we can actually not submit in the majority of our country without the DOC. And that is something that we are going to receive only when there will be the cutoff day, so from January 19th. And also other countries will require legalized document, and that is expecting to obtain that document not sooner than February 2023. So we are expecting to complete the majority of our submission within February 2023. And then we can really move forward with the Minister of Health submission, and we need to wait for their approval. That the country by country, this time may be changed. So we can move from 1 month to even in the worst case scenario, like 9 to 12 months to get the certificate. So then only when we get the approval and the authorization to sell in those countries, we can have the ability to provide Baxter products. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so just briefly to also provide for you an overall about Volt Mobile. If you can move the last slide. This is really interesting product for us, and that will be a new launch in our EMEA market. Starting with 3 lighthouse project in UK, Germany, and France that is planned in Q1, 2023. And that will have a contribution for also third party that is going to support us in the implementation of EMR for EMR integration, but also for alarm management. That is something that also we really need to rely on third party. That will be really under Q2 2023, the introduction of other country, in particular for ISIMEA, like KSA and Gulf, and also the inclusion of other system that will be linked to EMR and will depend on EMR, and that will be SDC and BDHP and there are new software that will be integrated in mobile. I believe that my time is finished, so I will thank you very much for your time, and I give you back to you, Ilham or Catalina.
It's me. Thank you, Marco. Thank you so much for the updates and insights. Everybody knows Marco, so if you have specific questions related to your markets and your products, please feel free to reach out directly to him. There are important things that are happening now in both FLC and GSS mainly. So don't be shy, okay? Reach out to Marco if needed. Thank you so much, Marco. So now, because we are sitting here in a virtual studio and we cannot actually see you, we don't know if you were there with us. If you want to engage with us, please don't be shy. You have a chat function. Even if you're from your mobile or your laptop, there's a chat function below. Don't feel shy. Use it. Ask questions, engage, put opinions, share feedback, whatever you want. We can see it. Now, we have done like 2 quizzes, right? Just to interact with you. It was just to warm up, to see if you see the questions, if you can answer, if it's how friendly user is the platform for you. So we want to do the last one, just to make sure you are still with us, you are still awake, we are still keeping you with high interest. So we have a very interesting quiz, very difficult questions. So I'm just letting know the team now in the studio that I am ready for the question number 1. And hopefully you can all reply to, let's see with the correct answer or not. So let's see if it's working. That's a very tough one. That's like a trivia question. When was Baxter founded? Let's see who will know. I see I have 3 participants willing to vote, and I'm curious to see. I have to be honest, I don't know the answer. So it's either 1931 or 1922. I didn't do my homework. So let's see. We have Maged. Hey, Maged, Pavel. Wow. We have Anu with us. Monica. Tarek. Good. Okay. What's the human body's largest organ? Oh, come on. You must know that. It's too easy. But let's see. Let's see if you can play with the platform. Who will be the most speedy one? Who knows how to use his mobile? Who's the fastest on the laptop? I'm not good with technology, so I trust that you are. Let's see. What is the human body's largest organ? Oh, come on, guys. It's not a brain. For sure, it's not the brain. It's the skin. This one, I knew it. It's the skin, and okay. Good. I see the first was Maged again. Maged, you're ruining the whole trivia. You are winning everything. But Maged, he's a very experienced trainer, so he's very used with technology. What is the capital of Mongolia? Is it Cairo? Is it Erdenet? Is it Khoft? Is it Ulaanbaatar? Hey, don't cheat, okay? Don't look on Google. I know you're using your mobile, so probably it's easy for you if you Google it, but okay, Ulaanbaatar. Don't tell me it's Maged again, who was the first. I'm very curious to see. If it's Maged again, we need to give him a prize for this. Now, we should have had some drums to see who's there. Okay. And the last one, what is the largest bird alive? Is it the emu, the ostrich, the king penguin, or the vulture? I assume I know the answer, but it's just an assumption. And this is the last question, by the way. So majority of you said the ostrich. I do agree. And let's see who was the first to give the answer. No, we couldn't see it. We had 17 participants. Thank you for all of you who have been giving answers and interacting with us. I see new names there. I see Atahan. I see Haisam. Good. Oh, actually, the first is not Maged. It's Mohammed Yassin. So congrats, Mohammed. You were the winner of our trivia contest. Good, thank you. I hope now that you are in a good mood, you relaxed a little bit, right? You know how to use the platform, you get used to all the functionalities. Now we're gonna split now, okay? It's time to go through specific FLC session led by Ilham. So for those of you who interact with Ilham and FLC, you should stay here in this session. Don't do anything. Just wait for her to appear on the screen. But for those of you who are with me with Care Solutions, you have a button down there, okay? I don't know where exactly. It can be at the bottom of the page. Look for it. Click on it. And I'll see you in a minute in our Care Solutions breakout session. Thank you. Good luck, Ilham.
Thank you. Enjoy your session. Hello again, everyone. Thank you for waiting, and I hope you are staying here with us because today we are going to cover a lot of interesting topics. And I hope that you interact more, you ask a question. Please don't shy to type or to send your question in the interaction box, and we will definitely try to answer it. So, there is no better way to start our session than few words from our FLC president, sharing with us global direction and high-level roadmap on key focus areas that will support us through our growth strategy.
Hello, everyone. Great to be with you today. My name is Riaz Rasul, and I'm the president of Frontline Care. Today, I wanted to share with you a couple of the very, very exciting things that we are focused on in this business. The first is around innovation, which I think is important for all of us, but most importantly, it is for all the patients that we serve. We as a business are continuing to rapidly invest in multiple areas of our portfolio to bring critical and clinical innovations to these markets all over the world. So I'm very, very excited about the pipeline that we have across every area of our portfolio. The second big area of focus for us is around geographic expansion. And that's where I think we have the largest ability to partner together going forward between what we're doing in the global organization and what you're doing in ECEMEA. I am so excited about the growth opportunity that this business has in all markets around the world. But for ECEMEA in particular, I think we have an enormous opportunity to bring many elements of our portfolio to all of the different markets that you serve. So what you will see more of going forward is an opportunity for us to connect, talk about the needs that you have in your specific markets, and figure out how together we can collectively accelerate bringing these portfolios to you so that you can bring them to our end customers. So I want to thank you in advance for all your support on the journey that we're about to go on together to accelerate the growth of this business. So thank you, and I look forward to visiting you live in the region in the coming months.
Message. So, building on our frontline care president's inspiring message, I would like to start today's session by sharing a short executive summary, which will cover FLC financial results, key highlights on market dynamics, a quick overview of the competition, followed by our EMEA FLC growth strategy, and key strategic areas that will provide a clear direction to pull together our efforts, talent to achieve sustainable and profitable growth. As mentioned earlier, during the financial overview, FLC will bring us around 30 million with a double-digit growth of 20% and gross margin of 52%, mainly driven by our core product segment. In light of various market dynamics, we can observe that there are expansion prospects in some product segments in Middle East and Africa, such as vital signs monitoring segmented into blood pressure monitoring, pulse oximeter, and temperature monitoring device. According to reports, this market is expected to grow by 9% over the coming 6 years, which will bring great opportunities to the business. Additional important room for expansion is the rapid adoption of digitalization and connectivity by healthcare providers in mature markets. On the other hand, when we examine the threats, we see that there are still some concerns with GPO tendering process across the region, which impacted and will continue to impact our prices, margins over the coming few years. We also won't forget the COVID impact, which led to the procurement of significant quantities of stock that hospitals continue to utilize until today. When it comes to the competition in our core segments, Baxter will compete with its traditional competitors in low acuity vital signs, such as GE, Philips, and some incrementally more competition from Mindray in price-oriented markets. In physical assessment, our main competitor remains Riester, with Baxter leading in most of the markets. With that being said, we have identified key strategic areas, equally important to fuel our growth, and call for regional investment in key initiatives that have been already started in terms of resources and channel optimization. First one, of course, sustaining and growing our core businesses, which will continue to be a strategic focus as they bring almost 28 million of our current FLC business. Second driver is, of course, Geox execution, which is mainly increasing our presence in low penetration markets and leveraging Baxter footprint. And we will elaborate more about the importance of Geox in the following slide. The third point is invest in future growth through new products innovation, connectivity investments, and expansion in niche segments, such as Bardi, Retina View, and respiratory care portfolio, where it makes sense. Finally, product portfolio management is very important. Also, we are focusing mainly on rotating the portfolio into higher growth and profitable products. The first important strategic topic that comes to mind when discussing FLC strategy is Geox commitment and execution. We also heard our leaders yesterday stressing how crucial Geox is to generating profitable expansion in EMEA. I'm inviting you to look at the graph with more focus on the upper left corner, because this is where we did our market segmentation based on what are the countries where we have small revenue but high profitability, such as Russia, Ukraine, Romania, and Hungary, where we don't have our entire portfolio available. Speaking about our portfolio, I would like to point out that just roughly 10 out of 75 countries in the region, we have the whole portfolio registered. And when looking at the right side of the graph, you can see that the top 10 countries representing 90% of total FLC revenue. So imagine what a significant growth opportunities Geox can bring to us. In Geox, we are looking in parallel into three types of projects. The first one is related to the MDR, as Marco has updated us, where we want to ensure continuity of business. Another project is a new expansion project to low penetration markets, where we are not fully presented at the moment. And this is mainly in CIS, Southeastern Europe, and Africa, on which we are looking to leverage our Baxter's footprint and presence. Finally, extending existing products in the global portfolio that are not released in our region and look for the real potential in our region. Moving to an equally important strategic area is sustaining and growing our core segments. As you can see from the graph, our core segments, vital signs, physical assessment, thermometry, and cardiology, represent 93% of our total FLC business. Therefore, it's crucial today to focus in key products in those product segments that ensure continuous growth. When looking at maintaining and growing our vital signs, monitoring, increasing CSM penetration, and winning market share from the competition is key. And this can be attained mainly through establishing our higher value through connectivity. Here comes the importance of collaboration with medical affairs, for example, and extending more engagement and educational activities with HCPs. This will play a key role in generating demand and creating the right awareness on how our digital innovation and advanced care increase efficiencies and improve patient outcome. It's also worth highlighting that it's also worth highlighting that connecting more and quicker builds defense strategy against the competition, because once the hospital invests in connecting our devices, it's unusual and almost impossible to shift to a competitor product. Moving to physical assessment, we are currently enjoying a great leadership position today. And in fact, EMEA region contributes 50% of total EMEA physical assessment business. And now with the Enhance as a new product, this will create opportunities for us not to only win a new market share, but also add incremental revenue through replacing our old devices. On thermometry and blood pressure, improving wallet share of consumable is key to keep a healthy flow business when it comes to prop covers and cuffs. And this can be achieved through focusing on consumable contracts, standardization across the hospital. Finally, when it comes to cardiology, we see great potential to grow in this segment in our markets. Still, a clear and refreshed global BU strategy is much needed to replace end-of-life products that were not extended to our region and build a complete, strong portfolio to compete against tough competitors in the market. A great example of this is the Cardio Server, which is well known as Epiphany, and Bardi, the long-term ECG patch. In terms of long-term growth, as you heard, our FSC president highlighted the importance of new products innovation. Therefore, we are working closely with our GBUs to ensure timely new product launches in our region, such as the Disco project, which is the enhanced version of Pro 6000, and the Seymour project, which is the new generation of CVSM, which are planned to be launched between 2025 to 2026. Finally, the third strategic focus will be definitely investing in future growth. Mainly here, we are focusing on expansion in niche segments like Bardi, RetinaView, and the rest of our RC portfolio, which is the respiratory care, like Volara and Synclara in selected markets, where we see real opportunities in the market, like KSA, Gulf, Poland, Israel. And we started seeing real investment initiated on the EMEA level to assess real market opportunities to help us build a complete ecosystem. This brings us to the end of my presentation, and now it's time to hear from our guest speakers on how we will translate this strategy into execution. And our first speaker for today is coming from the Medical Affairs Department to walk us through the board medical vision and help us understand how collaborating with medical affairs on internal and external activities can drive the execution of our strategy. Please welcome with me Anel Hopek. Please join us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ilham, and hello, everyone. So I'm the Associate Medical Director for Hillrom portfolio in Baxter, in addition to my some additional responsibilities in the Baxter Legacy Baxter portfolio as well. And today I would like to talk to you about what medical affairs is and what we are doing and how we can collaborate in order to achieve our business targets. And before going into these points, I would like to share some information about or some insights about the business that we are working in. And those of you who are working in that industry for some years are witnessing that the pharmaceutical and the medical device market landscape is actually changing and evolving. And with that evolution, if we can say, the science and data are gaining more and more importance and reshaping the business platform, the business landscape that we are working on. And with that change, the business models are also evolving both around and beyond the product to encompass the wider therapeutic context, which means that now it's not sufficient to talk about only the products, the product specifications. We need to also include in our conversations, in our communications with the healthcare professionals, not only externally, but also in internal communications, more clinical and medical data. And we need to harmonize that data in a way to explain how our products are helping the patients and the healthcare providers with that regard. So the companies need to explain and contextualize the complex medical science to a diverse range of stakeholders, like the physicians, patients, and payers, in order to support the decision-making on the product purchasing and the usage, and to demonstrate patient value in a real-life setting. So with all these changes, the companies which are successful in combining, analyzing, and interpreting various data sets to inform their interactions with the stakeholders and ultimately improving the patient outcomes will be successful, with no doubt. So here, as you can see, the improving the patient outcomes is the critical thing. And that patient focus is actually at the core of our One Baxter force multiplier, as you all know as well. So this is totally in alignment with our company mission of saving and sustaining lives. And in parallel to that, worldwide medical organization has also identified its vision as identifying the medical needs of the patients and the healthcare professionals through engagement with the healthcare community and generating and disseminating the evidence needed to ensure optimal impact of Baxter products on saving and sustaining lives. So how do we do that? Definitely in alignment with the business objectives and the business strategic imperatives, we create the medical affairs strategy. And with that strategy, in alignment with that strategy, we identify the strategic medical objectives. And those strategic medical objectives are identified by understanding the met and the unmet needs of the external stakeholders like the patients, healthcare professionals, providers, the policymakers, and the payers. And with that understanding, the strategic medical objectives include the needs of those stakeholders, and in parallel to that, plans or objectives with regards to generating evidences with the use of our products and disseminating that evidence generated, and training of the external stakeholders as well as the internal stakeholders as well, and also interactions with the medical communities and the societies. And with that, with those objectives, we prepare a medical plan, and that medical plan is, of course, identified or prepared with a collaboration with our internal stakeholders in the company, like sales and marketing, market access, the clinical team, R&D, the training team, and other relevant functions which will have any kind of impact or influence on the business and the activities that we are going to execute. And with that medical plan, then comes the execution part of this process. And this execution actually includes external and internal activities that we conduct. And some examples of those activities are on the external side, evidence generation, evidence dissemination, healthcare professional educations and trainings, and key thought leader engagement and key thought leader management. And when it comes to the internal activities that we conduct, again, education is an important part, and collaborative projects and tasks with internal stakeholders, and responding to queries coming from internal stakeholders. Sometimes they need our medical support, which may not be part of our medical plan that was initiated in the beginning. So actually this slide clearly shows the importance of collaboration both internally and externally in order to execute the medical plan to support the business. However, while conducting our job in the medical affairs side, although collaboration is key, sometimes we as medical affairs people need to be conducting one-to-one interactions with the healthcare professionals. For example, sometimes we need to do some off-label product usage related conversations with the healthcare professionals, and such conversations or such communications should be handled by only medical affairs people. And also research or clinical study related communications with the healthcare professionals also need to be conducted by the medical affairs people, because such kind of scientific and patient-oriented clinical activities should not be in a way perceived by the healthcare professional to be linked by commercial purposes or product selling or any commercial target. So while doing all these activities, our key value drivers are patient safety, innovation and evidence generation, scientific exchange, and external engagement. And while doing all these, we are aligned to meet our regional business priorities and worldwide medical strategies. And we are the medical scientific ambassadors to the medical community, and we focus on building strong engagement with the key stakeholders in the healthcare industry. And we are focused on improving patient outcomes through our product and therapy portfolios and activities. And we put the patient at the center of everything that we do and are guided by the highest ethical principles. So I'm saying we in this slide. So who are we? Here in this slide, you see the Medical Affairs Organization in ISEMEA region. And Karl-Heinz Niebler is the Senior Director of Medical Affairs in the ISEMEA organization. And there's a quite large team based in each cluster or countries. But only 2 people in this organization is taking care of the legacy Hillrom portfolio. And one of them is me, and I'm working together with Ahmed Abushiade. I'm sure many of you already know him from Hillrom. So Ahmed and myself are working together. Ahmed is mainly responsible for PSS and FLC portfolio, while I'm responsible for the GSS portfolio. Sorry. And with all these insights and the information I have shared, our organization and our vision and strategic drivers are very much aligned with the scientific outcomes that are suggested actually by the external authorities and some authors and researchers as well, which see the medical affairs as one of the main pillars of business, along with commercial and market access and research and development. And with that, in executing or in achieving the business targets, we know that collaboration is the key. And whatever we are going to do together with the marketing and sales organizations or other functions will be totally aligned with the Baxter business imperatives and strategies. So collaboration is the main element to be able to execute those exciting or ambitious targets. And here you see how this collaboration has been highlighted in the union or the merger of Hillrom and Baxter as well in this picture that was taken in the Global Health Exhibition. So being together makes us stronger, and we as medical affairs are here to collaborate with you and to achieve the best out of our activities together with all the functions. So this ends my presentation. I'm open to any questions coming from your end. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Anil, for the great information and insights. Indeed, collaboration and alignment with our medical affairs, and especially for marketing, is key to drive our strategy. No questions from the audience, but I'm inviting everyone to reach out to Anil later in case you have any further questions. Thank you very much, Anil.
Thank you very much, Ilham, and see you, everybody. Bye-bye.
See you. Bye. So everyone is quiet today, and here I would like really to invite you to interact and take the advantage of having our expertise with us today. So let's see. Hope we get more questions in the coming parts and slots. Let's welcome our next speaker, Maged Mabrouk, our EMEA FLC training manager, who will be presenting interesting topics about Baxter's training methodology, as well as an update about our future collaboration in FLC training curriculum development. Please, Majid.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for inviting me to this summit. I'm really glad I'm here today. Although I feel already like being at home, having a lot of very nice colleagues from Herrom who were ex schoolmates and ex colleagues who worked with me before in previous life. But I'm so privileged to be with you today. So what we will discuss in the next 15 minutes, we will go through the 3 C's. So what are the 3 C's? This is the training methodology of us in Baxter, and this is the approach that we will take moving forward to the frontline care portfolio. The second thing, we will discuss about where we are today in terms of the curriculum development and what will be the training journey across the way for 2 types of people or 2 types of colleagues, people who are already existing in the company, in the portfolio, who has been very successful, driving the business and sustainable growth. And the second thing, people who will join us in the future, either in a commercial role or in a functional role. And then the third thing, we will talk about the approach and collaboration between agility and collaboration between functions, and how this will help us in adding value from a training perspective to the commercial organization. So as you see here, this is the training organization. This is Jim Banks, the EMEA Commercial Training Director. And this is my team, the team that we are working in. And the reason why I'm showing you this slide, because you have one person representing every business unit. And I'm happy being your frontline care training manager. But at the same time, you have 3 important contacts. You have Merrick, who is the digital and connected care training manager. And then we have Esther, you know Esther from Herrom before, her legacy Herrom, and John Allen, who are driving the commercial training. So between now and Q1, you will be seeing some emails and some invitations to calls from either from me or John or Esther. So this will be either related directly to the portfolio of frontline care or to the commercial training or digital training. So the 3 C's that we are focusing on are curriculum. This is C number 1. And what we mean by curriculum, when you hear the word curriculum after this call, that means the total package of learning activities, including face-to-face training, exercises, certification, other e-learnings modules, LMS, and other tools that you will be introduced on, that will make sure that the person who is joining the frontline care is going through the journey from 0 to a consultancy skills. The core training, the second C is the core training. And when we say core training is part of the curriculum. And this is the part where if anyone have done the core training, that means he is ready to be in the market, safe in the market, facing the customer, and ready to compete and win. Yeah. So you will find these 2 terminologies a lot: the curriculum, building the curriculum, and core training. And when we invite you to a core training, or when we invite one of your colleagues or one of your team to a core trainings, make sure that whenever they are certified from core training, they are safe to be in front of the customer and to compete against competition and win a business. Certification is a terminology that you will hear in Baxter. Your frontline care is not involved in the certification this year, but what we do usually as a routine, every October, every 1st of October, and every year, everyone in Baxter who is facing customer, either working in sales or marketing or sometimes medical, anyone who is interacting with customer will go through a certification process. And this process is running every year through Baxu. You will get an invitation by October. Everyone should go through this certification. And what we do this certification as kind of assessment, and the pass rate of this assessment is 90%. And the reason why we are doing that for to identify where are the training gaps. We started in October, and it's 4 weeks process. So from beginning of October till 28th of October, everyone has the chance to take the assessment or to take the certification process twice during this month. So it's plenty of time, no stress about it. The main issue is to understand that people know where to find the information and to identify for us as training team, marketing team, or medical team, where are the gaps of the training where we need to evolve for the next year. Yeah. So what will be the training tools that we will use starting from January? We will use some nano learning approaches. And what we mean by nano learning, we will use some softwares where you will receive on your phones or in your iPads a very quick notification, a quick information about a frontline care product that you are responsible for every another day. So 2 or 3 times a week, you will receive a notification about an interesting information related to the product or to the medical information of your portfolio. The aim is not to consume more than 1 to 2 minutes per time. So in total, 5 minutes from your time per week. This will be the maximum thing. Then we will have the micro learning, and the micro learning is meant to be between 2 and 8 minutes. And this will be through software that's called Aligo, or a portfolio that's called Aligo. And then you will receive some videos and some a quick YouTube style notifications about a piece of information or something of coaching or something against competition or something related to a new release that's coming on. And again, the aim is not to consume too much time. Be quick and easy. Through your phones, you will watch something like between 2 and 5, maximum 10 minutes video on that. Then we will go to the LMS, the one that you all used to know from Legacy Herrom or people who are from Baxter. Through Baxter, you will have an e-learning, and this e-learning are modules that will take you through the therapeutic area, product-related information, and then some competition analysis going on there. Then we will have the face-to-face or the virtual training, depends on what is the situation in the company, but we will have 3 types of training where we will dig deep as a group. So the first 3 ones are just one, you are attending alone, one person doing his training or getting the information on his pace. But then the other 3 different types of training, the virtual training or face-to-face training or webinars, are groups training. And this is where we launch something or where we go for the core training, and it will be very dependent on the demand of the country, demand of the business, and how ready is the people in the group. This is the development as we speak today. So as we speak today, we are developing in few parts. Mainly, we will focus on the CSM or the Vitals curriculum. This will be launched in January. You will see an email coming from myself, either end of December or beginning of January, with the training agenda for the year, where it will include the Vitals training, cuffs and thermometers, and cardio trainings. Along are the 3 products that we are focusing on for this year. I'm still working with Ilham, developing where are the most of the demands coming from. Yeah. If you have something pressing or something related to geo expansion or something related to another priority rather than what you see on the screen, please reach out to Ilham and we will be able to absorb and manage this and integrate it into the training calendar. Just to say that in parallel to the product training and medical training, we will have a commercial training going on, either spin training or challenger training or coaching training. You will have a specific training calendar including different courses related to coaching, boost management, negotiation skills, account planning, and so on. I will reach out to me if you have any question about that, and I will be able to help you on that. Collaboration, as we said, is a big issue going on the training. So whatever you will be receiving on the training, be sure that it is based on a proper collaboration between marketing, medical, and training. So all the training content that you will receive, all the training sessions that you will have, any software content that you will receive, any content you will receive, any content that I will develop, I will make sure that I've been sharing this with marketing, having their buy-in and approval on the message. Medical team, the Anil and Ahmed as well, they will help me on validating the medical content, so you can go to the market. We can give you a proper information that is safe enough to be able to compete and well. This is our approach in the training. And if you have any question about what I've said now, please write it in the chat. Otherwise, we'll keep going there. So the approach that we will use in the training, we will not wait until we have something proper. We will go agile in all what we think. So today, what we are aiming for is to go for a training, not to have a medical school. This is not the purpose at all. The purpose is not to generate people coming out of the training who are the best in the clinical information. We don't want to generate cardiologists. We don't want intensivists coming out of there. But at the same time, we want people to have proper medical information and a proper training that will help them. Sorry, I'm seeing a comment from Manu that he cannot see my screen. Can someone from the studio please share that? So the main issue is that we are not graduating people from a medical school. We want people to go with enough information to be able to handle a proper and confidence conversation with healthcare providers. Not only nurses, not only biomedical engineers, not only IT people, but we will be overlooking all the stakeholders, and all the content in the training program will be managing that. So people who get out of the training can handle a proper conversation with confidence there. So bear with us. What we will do today, we will not wait until we develop the best car ever, but we will go with the skateboarding, then with the scooter, and then we will reach by, and the plan is to reach in 18 months to this nice car. Very important thing to be able to have a proper training department in the company is the feedback from the market. So today, when you are coming to the training, please make sure that you are participating, you are active, you are giving us and the marketing and the medical a proper feedback about competition, about your customer behavior, about what you've seen in the market, because this will help us a lot to evolve and develop a lot. And this is, again, a core of collaboration. If any questions, I'm ready for it. If no other questions, please feel free to reach out to me anytime. Do you have any questions from the studio?
Thank you very much, Majed. Amazing feedback. I don't know about everyone else, but I'm really excited, super excited to start collaborating with you on the educational and training piece. As you know, previously in Legacy Hillrom, we didn't have this solid approach. So we are all waiting for what this can bring us next year. Thank you very much.
No worries. And just one thing to mention as well, Ilham. So the first approach will be when we start in Q1, I will be rolling out the patient deterioration training and Sepsis Academy that we have been trying now in the UK, the Sepsis Academy and the patient deterioration. And as I promised most of you, I will make sure that overlooking EMEA, I will exchange the expertise either from UK or Western Europe to Middle East and vice versa. I'm sure you're doing a lot of great things that we don't know how to do it as you're doing in Europe. So this is part of my role as well.
Super. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Maged.
Thank you.
So if you have any questions about training, education, now you know to whom you should reach out. And please let me know, as Maggot said, because we are working together to mapping all the demand, training demand, and we are working on a solid training calendar for 2023. So before welcoming our next speaker, let's test your memories and speed with a quiz, a quick memory game quiz that will help you to remember FLC products very well in the future. So get your fingers ready on the mouse and let's play. Unfortunately, I cannot see the game, but I would encourage you to hurry because we have only a few seconds. Let's see who will win with memorizing all our FLC products images. Giving you a few more seconds. I'm excited to know who will win. Someone from Legacy Hillrom or Legacy Baxter. The game seems a little bit difficult, or what? Let's extend the time a little bit. So I tried to choose simple and easy images to remember. Let's see who is the winner. Okay, so the winner decided to be anonymous. So, okay, we will move and continue. Unfortunately, we could not mention your name, but congratulations to whoever won this game. So, as you all know, connected care is in the DNA of Legacy Hillrom and is a strategic pillar that empowers our vision. Please let's welcome Menoros, the category manager in Western Europe for vital signs monitors, to help us understanding the main challenges healthcare providers are facing today and how we support them overcoming those challenges and improve patient outcome and workflow efficiencies. Menno, you can go ahead, please. Thank you. Can you unmute yourself, Menno? I think you are on mute. We cannot see your slides.
There we go.
We can hear you now.
Okay, sorry about that.
No worries. Take your time.
Now
I will let you know when we start seeing your screen. Perfect. We can see it now.
Okay, sorry about that. So yeah, thanks Ilan for the introduction. Again, everybody, for people that don't know me, my name is Menno Roos. I'm the category manager for the vital signs in Western Europe. A long time with the company. I actually came from a company in cardiology that was acquired by Welsh Ellen, and then I transitioned into the vital signs and then we got acquired by Hillrom, and of course now we're part of Baxter. So today, as Ilham said, we'll talk about what are really the hospital challenges, mainly at the general wards where we are playing. We'll have a brief introduction into the Connex Vital Signs solutions that we're offering. And then, of course, what is the value proposition that we're offering to our customers in order to help them face these challenges. So first, just to set the stage a little bit, we're talking about general vital signs capture. I mean, many times I see people talking about monitoring. Sometimes to me it's a little bit confusing, right? I mean, we do vital signs capture episodic. So this is really where people are in the general wards, where the nurses are coming, taking their blood pressure, temperature, saturation, heart rate, maybe even rest rate, and maybe additional parameters. And they do this every 4 to 6, sometimes 8 hours to keep track of the patient status. So this is where we want to play. So as mentioned, we want to understand what are the biggest challenges that the hospitals are facing in the general wards. Most of the time, I think you're all aware about managing the staff workloads because of more acute level of patients and not more nursing, right? Also, like there are lots of inefficiencies and risk of manual vitals documentations, because we'll talk about that a little bit more. How do we identify it? How do the nurses identify the early patient deterioration, right, as early as possible? And of course, like a little bit on, this is all IT related as well. So how do we keep the clinical acceptance, but also keep IT happy that we provide enough security on the system? So when we talk about these projects, because these are really I mean, it's not selling a device, right? There are many different stakeholders inside of the hospital. I'm not going to go, into all, but we're talking about the clinician, the self that use the devices, the physician that have to act on the information, a corporate nursing officer that kind of like oversees it all, nursing informatics officer that kind of like ties between the medical and the IT, and of course the CIO of the hospital that is responsible for the wireless network, but also for the EMR system. So we talked a little bit before about staffing needs, right, on the general wards, right? We see acuity levels are increasing, but the nurse-patient ratios are not, right? And that also, because of that, nurses are interrupted during their task, an average of 8 times per shift, and research shows often as many as, can be as frequent as every 5 minutes in a certain period of time, right? I think this is very clear, right? How accurate and timely are the vital signs being entered into the EMR? I mean, I think it's very clear that this is an issue, but in order to really show this to the customers, research has done, their studies done, that shows like almost 90% of the manually documented vitals result in an error or in an omission, right? And you can see already from the picture that this is actually very clearly written, but this needs to be transferred into an EMR system, so it's easily to make a little mistake there. Also, like how much time does it take for these vital signs to be entered into the EMR before somebody can look at it and make a decision, right? So on average, this will be 40 minutes, but you can also imagine that sometimes this will be an hour or even more before this is entered into the EMR. And then it doesn't even include the fact that, we don't know when somebody will look at the data to take action if needed. And in general, right, research suggests that the signs and symptoms of clinical deterioration can be detected as early as 24 hours before an event. So therefore, taking these vital signs frequently is, of course, very important. So these are really the challenges that they're facing into the hospital. So I would like to speak about like what do we offer. And in order to keep it short for this presentation as well, we focus on the Welsh Allen Connex spot monitor, also known as CSM, that you see here on the picture. So really, this is our device, our go-to device that we use to take routine vitals with the complete patient documentation and the ability to detect and respond to the signs, to the early signs of patient deterioration, right? So the device is really developed with clinicians, together with clinicians. So there's a simple color touch screen interface. Of course, everybody says it's simple, but I think from experience, we know that like when we put this into a hospital and we want to pick up the demo device, sometimes they barricade the doors, right? They don't want to get rid of the device anymore. As mentioned before, we're talking about spot check and timed intervals, what we call episodic monitoring, right? Spot check is the clinician goes from bed to bed to bed, and the timed intervals is actually where the device stays with the patient, connected to the patient, and it will on timely intervals take the blood pressure, saturation, and actually can send that also to the EMR at that time. Many times, of course, we talk about the connected vitals, all the complexities of how to do this bi-directional data security. But I think it's also important to understand that, you know, we have a big legacy in this vital signs monitoring space, right? So, for example, the Welsh Allen SureBP algorithm measures on inflation. So this is already an algorithm that exists more than 15 years. And we were really the only one on the market that could actually measure on inflation. And you can imagine that this is very quick and therefore also very comfortable for the patient. So patients like it, clinicians like it as well. Thermometry, also a very strong point for our company. Right? We own the technology for the oral and auxiliary thermometry, the SureTemp Plus technology, which we actually also outsource, that the OEM to companies like Philips and GE that have it into their device. And then on the other side, the tympanic thermometer, the Brown Pro 6000, is also exclusively distributed by our company worldwide, both standalone and into our vital signs devices. But because of that, hospitals that are standardized on the Pro 6000 and make it an easier choice to select our vital signs device because it also includes the Pro 6000. Then for saturation measurement, we have Masimo that since 2 years now we can also offer with respiration measurement. So using the finger sensor, we can actually measure the respiration of the patient, which is a big plus because otherwise they have to observe the patient for a period of time and then assess the patient this way, which is not always easy, especially if the patients have the feeling that they're being observed. Customers that have Nelcor or NoLin can select that as well. We offer everything that they prefer. Then, the idea is like when the clinician is at the bedside, they might as well take as much information there and send that directly to the EMR because it reduces the documentation errors and the timing as well. So we offer what we call modifiers. They provide additional information to the measurements that we have measured, like, is the blood pressure measured on the right arm, left arm, is the patient standing, laying down, etc., etc. And then the other thing is like customizable, and I should say highly customizable early warning scores, right? Our device, we can allow our customers to make complex early warning scores to fit their needs. So they can get like a complete assessment of the patient at the bedside together with the final score and an action, what the clinician has to do at that time based on the scoring of the patient. And of course, everything is either wirelessly, but at least connect to an EMR system. And I think worldwide, we have over 150 connectivity interfaces created with EMR systems in the different hospitals. And very quickly, just to show what the workflow would be, first is like the clinician logs in, and that they can do that right now, for example, with their RFID badge by just tapping their badge on the scanner. Then they scan the bracelet of the patient. We send the ID to the EMR and request the name of the patient and show that on the screen. so the clinician knows A, they have the right patient, and B, the patient is inside of the system. So when they send the data, it gets also to the patient file. Then, they collect all the vital signs, they measure all the parameters, add the manual data, and then by pressing save, they're done and ready to go to the next patient. So that's the solution we're offering. So really, how does it bring value? How do we discuss that, right? So first of all, there's fewer documentation steps for the staff to take, right? So they don't have to go to the PC anymore, take the data that they have written down and type that into the computer. Secondly, because they don't have to do that anymore, they basically eliminate any of the transcription errors because they're measured, they're on the device, they confirm it, and once they press the save button, it is automatically stored into the EMR. Of course, they increase the time spent on value-added patient care, right? They have less time that they need for documentation, so they have more time to spend on their patient. In general, the workload is decreased, and because we take all the vital signs, because we can do the scoring at the bedside and take immediate action, right? We can also detect the signs of patient deterioration sooner with these early warning scores, right? Without having additional, knowledge on interpreting certain parameters, right? The score is the score. There's no discussion about that. And then based on the score, the device actually tells them what to do. Very clear and all, of course, documented. So in order for the clinician satisfaction, right here we're saying 72 minutes on a general estimated saving per round. So that's more than an hour. We did also some studies in Western Europe, one in the UK and one in Sweden, where both of them said that the saving that they have per patient was around 52, 53%. So half the time that they normally spend, at the bedside taking the vital signs was already saved by using the connected vital signs solution. The other thing is like physicians will never wait for vitals again, right? That means that like before they have to wait until they're actually entered into the EMR, then how do they get the data? Is it sent to like a phone or a tablet that you see here? But the reduction of time is of course immediately. But actually it's not so much the physicians anymore. It's actually the clinicians that have the information right there at the bedside, as I mentioned before. Like they put in the information, they measure, they get the score so they can take immediate action. And if the action requires that, they can contact the physician immediately if needed. And then, of course, it helps improve the patient outcomes and satisfaction, right? The documentation errors are basically eliminated completely, not 100% because they can still enter some manual information into the device. So if you enter it wrong, it still goes out wrong to the EMR. But going from 20 to less than 1 is of course a great benefit already. So therefore, no more errors into the system. It helps improve the patient outcomes and of course, satisfaction overall. So that's it. That's what I wanted to present to you today. Let me know if there's any questions on that.
Thank you very much, Menno, for the valuable information. It's always a pleasure to have you with us here. So I would like also to highlight here that in ECEMEA, and especially in FLC, we have a strong connectivity story with 60% of our installed CSM devices connected. And driving this is definitely a strategic focus to drive all FLC business in the region. Thank you very much, Menno.
You're welcome. Thank you. Bye-bye.
We will continue with the digitalization topic. And now let's welcome our upstream marketing manager for physical assessment from the global team to talk about the global vision for digital diagnostic and share some insights about the exciting new launch, MicroView Plus and PanOptic Plus. Please join me at this stage, David. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for having me. My name is Dave Perkins. I'm the Senior Global Product Manager for our physical exam and diagnostic products, and that covers the new ophthalmoscopes and the new otoscopes that we're launching here. I've been with Hillrom, Baxter, Welch Allen for many, many years, and as a matter of fact, I started out as an engineer working on the kind of products that I'm the product manager for right now. So I've seen a lot of changes in the time, and it's really excited to show you some of the new things that we've done. So for today, we're going to talk about the vision we have for the physical exam, how it's been in the past and where we see it going. We'll talk about the two new products, the PanOptic Plus ophthalmoscope and the MacroView Plus otoscope. We'll talk a little bit about some of the configurations, and then we can answer any questions after that. I'm going to start, though, with a video to kind of just explain quickly what these products do. This is the video that we use with customers, so you may have seen it already, but it gives a nice overview of our products and kind of how they're different than anybody else. Actually, I'm wrong. I didn't start with the video. The video is coming up. I did want to give an analogy, though, to talk about the how these products, how we think about these products. And the analogy is for what we've done with these products is the doorbell that might be on the front of your house or your apartment. And in the past, this was a very, very simple device. And that's kind of similar to where we saw our devices in 10 years ago, 5 years ago, even a couple of years ago. If you look at them as a doorbell, where we were before we launched these products, basically we were just a doorbell. You press the button, it's very mechanical, very simple, and it did one thing. It said, okay, here, someone's outside the house, I need to let them in. But today, we have much more intelligent doorbells, and this is something probably if you thought about it 5 years ago, you wouldn't even have considered this as an opportunity. So that's the benefit of doing digitization, is by making them digital. Now we have additional capabilities that you just never would have had in the past. And in the future, obviously, you can do things like put cameras in them. You can send data where you want. You have algorithms and AI. So you can't even imagine where this technology will go in the past. But even 5 years ago, people wouldn't have even thought of it, I think. And I think that same analogy applies to our mechanical devices. So the ophthalmoscope looks in your eye, the otoscope looks in your ear. These are products that have been around for over 100 years. They're very, very simple devices. They're mechanical. They rely on the physician having good clinical knowledge, but there's very little ability beyond that. They're glorified magnifying glasses is what some people call them. They're a light, there's magnification, and that's basically what they do. But with our new products, the MacroView Plus and the PanOptic Plus, we've added the option to give much better views than we ever had before. We have an option to switch from optical, like the old devices, to digital. Yet it gives customers the ability to do both at the same time. So I'm not ready to go all the way to digital, but when they are ready, the devices are there. And they're easier to use than they used to be before. The older devices were notoriously difficult for students to learn. The new devices are much, much easier. And then where are we going to go in the future? Even we don't know where we'll go in the future, but by having these capabilities, we know we can save the data, we can add new parameters, we'll have connectivity, we'll have algorithms. All those things give us an opportunity in this market that we never would have had without this new product launch. And so now I'm ready to talk about what these are. Here's a quick video that shows what they do.
The physical exam. Let us change your view. Our next generation Welch Allen PanOptic Plus ophthalmoscopes and MacroView Plus otoscopes enable a significantly brighter, wider, magnified field of view. They help clinicians see the patient condition bigger and better than ever before. And with the option to quickly switch from an optical to digital exam, doctors can take an even closer look, save images and video, and patient and other caregivers to enable earlier diagnosis and treatment. Redesigned with a familiar form and feel, paired with EV technology and our DuraShock technology, the devices are easy to master, long-lasting and reliable, and cross-compatible with all Welsh Allen power handles, so clinicians can continue with confidence. Let us change you by setting a standard in physical assessment.
So that gives you a quick feel for what they are. And I thought I'd bring out the engineer in me and to talk about some of the technologies that we've incorporated into these devices. They really are radically different from top to bottom from what they were before, even though physically to a user, they feel very, very familiar. They feel like what they've done before, but we've really changed a lot of what's inside it to make these really the best devices in the world. None of our competitors have a product line that is like this. They do not have the features. They might have bits and pieces of it, but nobody pulls it together like we do at Baxter. So the first set are just these best-in-class features. We just want to make these devices better than anybody else out there, and that's what we've done. We've upgraded our warranty for the Plus version to be a 5-year warranty. We added that DuraShock technology that makes them very durable. The controls of our Panoptic to look in the eye are very similar to what they've used in the past, but we've added features like digital ready brightness control that is automatically turns off when the handle is off, but lets you set the light level at a very, very precise level. And these are backwards compatible to the older devices, so customers can use the handles that they have now, but obviously the new handles are better than the old ones with USB-C charging and auto off and features like that. They'll want to upgrade, but they don't have to. We can build on that install base. Also, these new heads are all LED, so we've gotten rid of the halogen replacement problem, which for a clinician is great for a couple of reasons. The batteries will last longer, but they'll never have to worry about a blown bulb again. And that's one of the biggest complaints about these devices in a busy clinic is room, and they may not work. And they don't know why they work, but most often they don't work because the bulb is blown. And so they have to take time out of their busy day. That with these new LEDs, we expect them to last decades and decades and decades. These devices will still be working after none of us are around anymore. The other thing we've done is upgraded the view. Older devices were pretty hard to use to get a good view. These new devices give you 20 times the view of a traditional device for the ophthalmoscope, or 3 times the view in the otoscope, in addition to giving you additional magnification that they just don't get before. So when you're demonstrating this to customers, you'll know, say with the ophthalmoscope, you'll know they're using it properly when they basically yell out and say, "Oh my gosh, I've never seen that before." The devices are very similar, but when they get that 20 times field of view, it blows them away. Most of them have never seen that kind of image out of an ophthalmoscope. It'll really change the way they take care of patients. And that's important, obviously, because if you can make the exam easier and quicker and they can see more of the back of the eye, they're going to be able to do better diagnosis. They'll be faster. They'll be more confident in what they're doing. And then the last thing is this optical to digital anywhere. We could have jumped right to a digital ophthalmoscope or digital otoscope. Some companies out there have done that. The problem is not every office is ready to go digital. So these devices will go digital when they want to. They can attach the smartphone to the back of their device. It turns it digital, but when they want to use it optically, if they just want to grab it for a quick exam, they're ready to do that. They can do that anytime, anywhere, but we've built for the future. So they'll have that digital capability in the future when they want it. And these really will let them see, save, and share images in the way they never have been able to in the past. All right. I just wanted to have you think about these and just take a second to listen to what I said. And I can't see the chat, but I will just want you to think about, when you think about the MacroView Plus otoscope, can you think of 3 features that were different than what we've done before? And think about why they'd be important for customers. Got something in your mind? For me, obviously, the LED tech, that durability and that life. The second one is the view. It's an incredible view that they wouldn't have learned. It makes the exam faster. And then obviously the digital capabilities are important. And it's the same for the Panoptic. Again, you're going to get the LED that's going to be, this is the most durable ophthalmoscope out there. No competitive ophthalmoscope is as durable as this. You have that LED, so you know it's going to work. It's going to last long on a battery, and then the view is incredible. So I wanted to give you a feel for that view, and you don't really appreciate it until you've seen what the traditional devices and what essentially all our competitors will do. So in this video that we created for customers, this is a great way to show what that view will be. You know, about it. When they see it, they get excited. They say, "Oh my gosh, I've never seen it before." This is something that will help demonstrate that, but really having them use it is a great way to do it.
Hello, David. I think there is a technical issue with the video,
So
unfortunately.
it looks like maybe this was not coming over that well for you guys.
No, it's not going well. I'm sure it's a pretty interesting video, and I would really love to share it with all the participants and attendees later on. But let's skip it because it's not clear for us. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to skip the next one too. The next video, so this is a great one to show that view that you have there. The next video, which will be in the presentation deck, will show the durability. And basically, we took a couple of competitive devices, and then we dropped them from 1 meter high. And after 2 or 3 drops, they break into pieces. The new Panoptic Plus took at least 50 drops in this video, and we really designed it to be very durable and to really last a long time in a way that other devices just can't do. So I'm going to skip this one. I'm going to skip this next one too, and then we'll jump to just some of the configurations that you might see out there. So there's a wide range of configurations. There's wall systems, which could be just the wall 777 wall transformer, or you can get a complete wall system with thermometry and blood pressure in various configurations, whether it's CSM to be completely automated or more manual methods. We have our new desk charger that works with old handles and with new handles. And then lastly, the diagnostic sets for students or someone on the go, where they have a range of handles that they can use in it. The Plus versions all have the best handles, the best heads, and the best ophthalmoscopes. Then we have better and good versions that they can also buy. But really, if you're going to focus on customers, you're going to do a presentation, I'd recommend you always start at the Plus version. That's the most full-featured version of the products. Is the one that is dramatically better than our competition, You can always move to other models. Always start at the Plus if you can. It's going to be a great story to tell. It pulls that whole story together, and it lets customers see what they can buy. Otherwise, we'll share the deck. You can take a look at the videos then.
Thank you very much, Dave. Very valuable information. I agree, honestly. Indeed, the new enhanced products added great value to our portfolio. The feedback we get from key opinion leaders and customers are great. And even me, when I demonstrated the product, I got blown away, honestly. So because I knew how the old devices looked like, and also it was the best in class. So luckily, we have the first question from the audience to you, Dave. Is the new MacroView Plus capable to provide a video on a screen like the digital MacroView?
Yeah, that's a great question. And so what we've done with the MacroView Plus and with the pencil. So this is the new MacroView Plus. You'll notice on the back of the device, if you have one, that it is a metal ring and it lets you attach a smartphone to the back of it. So now I can use it optically just the way I normally would. But when I want to go digital, I'll add the clip and my phone onto it, and now it's turned it into a digital device. It's basically using the camera and our Eye Examiner app to look through the device and give you perfect magnification and capture those images. That can also be attached to the Panoptic Plus in the same way. And so you can capture that and add that to the Panoptic Plus and make that a digital device too.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you very much. And I will make sure to share all the videos later on with the audience. Thank you very much, Dave. It was a pleasure having you with us. Thank you.
All right, everybody. Have a great day. Thank you.
Have a great day. Bye. As mentioned earlier, sustaining and growing our cardiology business is key focus to drive our growth in ECMEA. And for that, I'm pleased to welcome Jennifer Ireland, our Upstream Marketing Director for Cardiology line. Jennifer will walk us through the product portfolio as well as the cardiology strategy. Joining her also Jesse Morans, the Marketing Director from our global team, to talk about Bardi, the long-term ECG patch. Please welcome to the stage, Jennifer.
Thank you. Good morning. Good afternoon. Great to be here. And so we'll talk first a little bit on the next slide about what the portfolio looks like today. I think everybody knows we did a little bit of a few acquisitions in the last few years. And so if you go to the next slide, I'll take you through what the portfolio looks like kind of across the board. So if you look at, we're going left to right. And so if you look on the left-hand side, you can see Epiphany. We acquired Epiphany in last year. And so they have our cardiology data management product, which is called CardioServer. And we're working currently through kind of global expansion and what that looks like, after a year being with our team. It was a great acquisition for us to kind of go from that box selling kind of a device selling method to a solution selling with cardiology data management. We have our resting ECG portfolio, which contains our purpose-built box devices and our PC ECG. We have our stress, which is our Q stress and our X scribe systems. We have Holter. So we have our traditional Holter, which is our H12 plus and our H3 plus, our 12 leads and our 3 leads, and then our acquisition of Bardi DX with our long-term ECG patch, which Jesse will talk a little bit in a few minutes. We have our optional spirometry on a few of our devices, and then our ambulatory blood pressure. If we look at the bottom, we have the Veritas algorithm, our services, our accessories that span across this portfolio. And if you've been around a while, or if you're familiar with some of these names, if you look at the bottom, all of these brand names at the bottom are best known brand names in cardiology that are becoming Baxter. So part of, we have Mortara, Burdick, Quinton, Welch Allen, Hillrom, Epiphany, and Bardi are now all Baxter. So we, with our acquisitions and kind of rounding out the portfolio, we feel like we have a best-in-class portfolio that we're able to offer our customers. So if we move kind of into the next slide, I'll spend a little more time here talking about our vision for cardiology. So our kind of four key areas that our focus is in the next upcoming years. When we look at intelligent and connected devices, we really want to invest in new product development. We want to target our aging install device, our base with our tech debt, come to market with new products, especially in our resting ECG area, focusing on bringing new products to the market, and then really utilize our algorithms and clinically differentiate our products across the portfolio. When we look at, when we look at connected solutions, really this was all about bringing CardioServer, which is Epiphany, into the mix. So if you kind of look at that on the right-hand side, you have a 3-pie chart with our AI-aided diagnosis in the middle. If we look at the bottom, we have connected solutions. So we have our CardioServer, we have BDX Connect, which is our platform for our long-term ECG patch, and then kind of the Veritas, what Veritas looks like in the future. Our goal is to look at cardio server, i.e. Epiphany, and really streamline workflows, have a tighter integration with our own products, but still keep that vendor neutral platform. So as we know, as we go into accounts across the world, we see less and less of a one vendor specific portfolio. So we might walk into a customer and they have a GE, they have Philips, Schiller, Baxter, and we want to be able to say, yes, we can connect your devices, but then also offer them a reason why they should purchase our own devices. So it's kind of we want to stay vendor neutral with a bias towards our Baxter devices. And that's going to be our kind of our integration and care pathway across the patient journey, is being able to have those kind of connected devices feed into our connected solutions at the bottom. We look at clinical and remote services. So now that we have this connected solutions and we kind of have our devices, our intelligent devices that feed into our connected solutions, what can we do with that data? Can we provide our clinicians and our staff better insights, actionable data from our devices, from our whether it's operational, financial, or clinical outcomes within our portfolio? So I think that's the biggest key, is really looking at this portfolio and going from purely just device selling to solution selling, and then taking it to the next level and saying, okay, now that we are a solution provider, how can we gain more insights from all these devices that connect into and connect into a cardio server? And then last, we look at kind of that middle circle, AI. So I think a lot of people have AI terminology, so artificial intelligence, but AI-aided diagnosis. So it's really, what can we do to help our clinicians make better decisions around their improved diagnostic yields and efficiencies? So when we think about Veritas, for those who are not familiar with Veritas, it's our algorithm that sits on our devices today that provides clinical, I would say it's a clinical aided diagnosis, right? So the physician still has to read, but how can we improve that? How can we make that diagnosis and that algorithm better? So it's really sits in the middle of not only on our devices, but really our connected solutions. And so can we do something within our devices? Can we do something within Epiphany? Or, as you look onto the right-hand side, is this something now that we're going to be looking at moving to the cloud, right? So it's cloud adoption and really kind of making that middle circle the nucleus of our cardiology vision. So when we look at our four kind of pillars of cardiology, just a quick recap of my piece of the portfolio: invest in new product introduction, offer that connected solution, differentiate where we need to on our devices, but stay vendor neutral, provide better clinical remote services, and then really help aid clinicians in making improved diagnostic yields and efficiencies. So that's our vision for cardiology. I'm going to turn it over now to Jesse Morenz. He is our marketing director for Barty Diagnostics, and really kind of talk through the long-term ECG patch and some global expansion on that piece.
Thank you so much, Jen. It's a pleasure to be here. We can go to the next slide, please. Okay, so it's my pleasure to take a little bit of time and tell you about long-term ECG. Generally speaking, long-term ECG is ECG analysis that's 3 or more days. The long-term ECG is the fastest growing component of the ambulatory ECG market, and so it presents the opportunity for significant growth. iRhythm is currently the global leader, but we at Barty have the second position, and we have been realizing a 100% capitalized annual growth rate since 2017. So it's a compelling story, and we're very excited about it. So with that, let me take you through the process of how our long-term ECG patch solution works. It's a system that integrates with a cloud software platform, the BDX Connect platform, as well as advanced ECG analysis software. And then, of course, report is generated. First things first, the patch is applied to the patient either at a clinic or in the privacy of your own home. You can apply it to yourself. It is worn from between 3 and 14 days. The typical wear times are 7 or 14 days. And the patient can indicate symptoms with a button if they feel so. And they also record their symptoms in a patient diary. Once that is done, the data is uploaded. The patient can mail it back with a included mailer box, or they can go to the clinic and have it uploaded there. It goes into BDX Connect, and from there, analysis is performed, typically by one of Barty-owned independent diagnostic testing facilities. This analysis portion is where we generate the majority of our revenue, over 90%. It really is our business model, and we are more of a health services provider than a device seller. Once the analysis is done, the report is uploaded to BDX Connect again, and then the physician can review that and go over it with their patient and come up with a plan of treatment or whatever it may be. So that is the workflow and how it works. It must work together. We would need clearance for all 3 components: the device itself, this cloud software solution, including where the servers sit, as well as the ECG analysis software. Okay, with that, we can go next slide. Currently, we are approved in Canada, the UK, and the United States. And as we look to expand beyond those markets, we are participating in the Boston Consulting-led group for Frontline Care, which is doing research into what are the most favorable markets for us to expand into. In general, what we're seeing with our competition is that they expand into markets where that service component can be held. We would still want to do the ECG analysis. That is truly where we shine, and we have the best clinical outcomes because we have highly trained staff in that regard. But as we work through the Boston Consulting Group's findings, we're going to be targeting new markets, and we are extremely excited to continue to grow. With that, we can field any questions.
So we can't hear you. Can you hear me, Jesse? Or
I can hear you, Jen.
Okay, great. So
Sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes. Okay, great. Thank you. So I have one question to Jesse first. So what is the difference between LT ECG and Holter recording?
Sure. The distance is the time that you wear it for and the ECG analysis comes out. So the data, broadly speaking, would be the same, although we do have superior noise base, so we have a better overall outcome with the P-wave analysis. However, we do also provide 2-day Holter recordings via the patch if you want it. The main difference in long-term ECG is it's beyond 3 days. And wearing it for a very long period of time can give the physician a much better picture of what's going on with the patient.
I'm also going to hop in here and just answer a portion of that as well. So the long-term ECG patch that the CAM patch is a single lead ECG. We also offer the Holter, which is a 3-lead or a 12-lead. So in addition to the time, it's also the amount of leads that's offered as well for a traditional Holter.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. A question for you, Jen. So do you think we will be able to compete with market cardio management softwares like GE Muse or Philips? And what differentiates our product?
Yep, great question. We compete today very well against Muse and Philips. I would say I'll speak just generally from a US perspective right now, since that's where CardioServer basically is. Mostly, I would say 90% of the volumes in the US. One is that it's the vendor neutrality of all the different kinds of, we have over 280 modalities that integrate into CardioServer, whereas it's not the case with our competitors. We also have ISO 27001, which is a a very hard security item to get. So we have a very high security, I don't want to say clearance, but capability within the product. And really it's about being able to, and also we have a newer UI and analytics. So we're doing very well competing against our competitors of GE, especially against Philips. We haven't seen the investment necessarily in their product over recently. So I would say we do a pretty good job there, and looking forward to discussing more how we can flip more customers.
Of course. Thank you very much. I would say that really we are in ECEMEA are very excited to collaborate and work together to extend all those new innovations to our region. And I would say for Bardi, we already started an EMEA initiative, which is a market assessment that we are currently running for 4 countries in EMEA, and Saudi Arabia is one of those 4 countries from ECEMEA region. So this will bring us a lot of market knowledge and information, and hopefully in the coming few months we will be able to work together. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure having you both here. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good day. So there's no better way to wrap up our session than displaying and sharing a successful stories that I'm sure that most of you heard about in our region this year, which was selling the connectivity license, Cerner connectivity license, to one of our biggest accounts here in UAE, Saha. So please welcome with me Fadi Ibrahim, our area sales manager for Gulf, presenting his success stories.
Hi, thank you, Ilham. Thanks for the introduction. Can you see me?
Yes.
Excellent.
We can see you and we can hear you.
Perfect, thank you.
But we cannot see the presentation yet, yeah.
All right. Can you just let me know when you see the presentation, because I can't see that on the screen.
Sure. Can you please share them?
It is shared. Let me just do once again.
We are seeing only presenter mode, Fadi. So if you can share the second screen.
So now you're seeing the presenter mode?
Yes, not the full screen.
And now?
We can see it perfectly. Thank you.
Perfect. All right. Sorry. Sorry for the technical issue. I hope that I can go fast. I was given 10 minutes. And I hope that this would be a light last 10 minutes in this session. So my name is Fadi Ibrahim. I'm the area sales manager for the Frontline Care business for the Gulf region. And I would like to share with you a success story from the United Arab Emirates. So basically, just to give you a highlight of the project that you've been working on for quite some time. So this is Abu Dhabi Healthcare Services, one of the largest, actually it is the largest healthcare network here in the UAE. And it's integrated and patient-centric company, consists of more than 2,700 beds, of course, including the new Al Ain Hospital, which is not yet into the system at the moment, or not yet operational at least, 46 clinics, 13 hospitals. And from the Abu Dhabi Healthcare Services, and among these 13 hospitals, we started with Sheikh Shakhbout Medical City, which is the SSMC, established as part of the Abu Dhabi Economic Vision 2030. And luckily, they do have an alliance with Mayo Clinic, so you can really assume the importance of this account in the healthcare delivery in the country, and in particular in Saha. So, I mean, so in this case, I mean, we have identified issues related to vital signs intake. So the problem was the hospital was manually taking the vital signs in the hospital, whatever is the department, whether it's in the emergency, inpatient, outpatients, and different department, it was manually taken. So there was a tendency of, errors in, logging these parameters into the patient files. There was no standardization at all inside the hospital. The security was a big deal because, when you take vital signs, and you want to enter it into the patient file, you have to record the name of the healthcare provider who took the vital, and they need as well to input it also in a timely manner. So the login and the logout is really important. And of course, because of this all work around the patient, there was like less focus on the patient rather than the focus was around the patient, taking the measurements, going into the workstation, entering these parameters, etc. Furthermore, there was no standardization. So you see like 3, 4, 5, and sometimes even more vital signs companies inside one account, which really lead to lots of problems in terms of nurse education, because the nurses are working on Welchel and tomorrow they're working on X brand, the day after tomorrow they're on a different brand. So there was an issue about standardization of, as well as, of course, the inventory, because our blood pressure cuffs are different than the blood pressure cuffs that's supplied by different suppliers. So definitely it's a big issue. Plus connectivity issues. So when Welchel wants to connect, and there are like 3, 4 different brands inside the same account, it's really a burden to the IT, and this is what we're trying to simplify the work, not only for the healthcare provider, but also providing a consistent solution for the IT departments as well as the healthcare providers. Lastly, I mean, like the early warning score and the way it was measured. I mean, like we all visited ICU and CCUs in our life, and we've seen these colorful charts, sometimes on the wall, sometimes in the hand of the nurse, and she's trying to put these parameters and doing the calculation manually, knowing that UAE is more focused on mews and pews, and they don't do news. So it needs calculation to be done on spot. So beside that, I mean, like we all know that sepsis is a big deal. So keeping in mind that 270,000 people die from sepsis every year in the US. So one person dies every 2 minutes, and this is more than the prostate cancer, breast cancer, and AIDS patients combined together. So how can Baxter help Saha in this particular problem? Of course, our mission is save and sustain lives, and Baxter can offer really a proven solution which can really enhance the outcomes for patients and their caregivers. So the solution comes to address existing problems. So what we have offered is an electronic vitals documentation, providing the proper device which can really wirelessly connected to the EMR available in the hospital, and unifying the workflow between the nurses so we can really standardize it across the board. Security entry as well, so every nurse can really have her own credentials to enter the device, take the parameters, log in, log out in a safely manner. And of course, all this will lead to a patient-centric solution providing. So the nurse won't really spend time around the patient. We want her to spend more time on the patient and focusing on them. And of course, early warning score, as I mentioned, and the way our devices can really accommodate 1, 2, 3, up to 6 different early warning scores, which can be used in different departments, because as you know, pediatric early warning score is different than the modified early warning score, etc. Standardization. I mean, like we work really big time on providing a cost-effective solution in terms of standardizing the prop covers, standardizing the blood pressure cuffs, and standardizing as well, and also providing a reliable solution in terms of connectivity. Because when you connect all the devices using a single middleware, you talk about a single middleware which connects to the EMR rather than 500 devices talks to one server. So you can imagine the flow of the information and the flow of the data. So what we have done in this project in particular, we have evaluated the nurse workflow. And just to give you a flavor of what we did in this phase in particular, let me go through the 4 phases or the 4 different workflow options that we have across different hospitals, regardless of Saha. The first workflow is a fully paper model. The second workflow is typing the vitals into the EMR, like bringing the device to the workstation once the round is done. The third workflow is a hybrid model where the device can really send some parameters automatically to the EMR while the rest of the parameters needs to be entered manually. So again, this is just how the workflow goes, and this is a reality of what has been done and what you can find inside the hospital. The workflow is the optimum solution that we are trying to provide, with providing a reliable device, wirelessly connected, can send all the vital signs parameters, including the early warning score, instantly from the same device. So if you really want to evaluate these 4 different workflows, so you can really understand that we are focusing on 3 main things. 1, keeping the nurse at the bedside. The same is translated into more time with the patient rather than around him. Reduce error rate since the parameters are sent instantly, so no human factor in this case. Lastly, ensure timely escalation. And this is what we are all talking about, is detecting early patient deterioration through a reliable system, providing instantly the early warning score. So if you look into the marks, I mean, like, you would really understand and realize that the 4th workflow is the best option that any hospital wish to have. All right, so we agreed, and luckily this was a Cerner account, and Cerner was there before us for many years. So we have decided that the Welch Allyn CVSM devices workflow can work along with Cerner, and we agreed on the workflow, which is basically translated into the slide by the nurse scanning her badge. Then she will scan the patient. Everything is, you get a bidirectional communication with the EMR. So you get the patient demographics on the screen. Then you start attaching the cuff, the probe cover, the SpO2 sensor. You get everything. You get all the parameters on the screen itself. Then you can also get the early warning score instantly. You press save. Everything wirelessly goes to the patient file at the same time. So in terms of winning together, I mean, like, after a few years of the hard work, we got 2 purchase orders from Cerner this year, both purchase orders worth $1.5 million. And it's all about connecting vital signs monitors. But the good thing is, not only that, this opens the opportunity as well for us in these hospitals to sell more devices, because, every hospital is expanding, and when the hospital expands, automatically they're gonna go with Welch Allyn solution because it's already connected and it's already proven that we are providing a reliable solution. This is my presentation for now, Ilham. I mean, like, I'm not sure if there are questions, but I'm happy to answer any.
Thank you very much, Fadi. Congratulations on your win, and hopefully we can build on this success story and leverage your expertise and your experience. Thank you very much, Fadi. Thank you. No further questions. So this brings us to the end of our FLC session today. Exciting and new innovation are on the horizon. Great commitment and execution on Geox to expand our business, along with many investments that started already in commercial excellence, in changing business models in selected markets, and the new growth strategy have been discussed and aligned with our global GBU to support us succeeding. The most important takeaway from this session is to align on our focus strategy and translate this strategy into execution to grow faster and achieve more success. We need to collaborate, bringing our efforts and talents together to achieve sustainable growth. I would like to thank each and every one of you who attended our session. Hope you really enjoyed it, and I would kindly request you to take few minutes or seconds to answer our survey that is shared with you, just to get your feedback on the topics, on the platform, what went well, what didn't go well. So your feedback is really valuable to us. It's important for future events and discussions. Thank you very much, and have a great day, everyone.
that